What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. It is getting hot back here as we move into August, but there is still a lot growing on. Come on back and let me show you how things are changing in between seasons. So one of the biggest changes to take place for us here as we come into the summer, the heat of the summer, is our spring vegetable garden. It's starting to wind itself down and come to an end. Most of the plants are being either overtaken by pests or weather damage. It's just getting too hot. So most of these annual veggies are about done. We've gotten a great amount of acorn squash and zucchini, which have been stored, bottled, or frozen in some way so that we can have those things later in the year. There's still plenty of yard-long beans, but for the most part, it's time for me to clean out these veggies, and I've got just the perfect workers to do that. It's about at this time of the year I am going to start letting my chickens roam free in the food forest to start breaking pest cycles, eating weeds, and taking care of some of the spent annual veggies. Also, they're going to be out here fertilizing, obviously. So as you can see, they have a thick, dense food forest and canopy to start working with, and they're going to do a good job of that for me. Now, while my chickens are busy cleaning up the understory, I still have a large overstory of perennial plants that I could be harvesting from as we go into August. The biggest one right now is going to be elderberry, and as you can see here, I am overloaded with elderberry this year. Elderberry, Sambucus nigra, is one of my favorite plants to work with. It's a very rewarding plant. It grows very rapidly. You can shape it into a shrub, a tree, or a hedge like I have here. The berries themselves are antiviral. And what I'm going to do with all these collected berries is end up either making jams, jellies, syrups, or tinctures. Once again, these berries have antiviral properties, so those items are going to be useful to me going into the winter and going into the cold season. Now the chickens ain't going to eat any of the perennials, and there are actually a whole bunch more perennials growing on right now that I want to talk about. Berries here on the elderberry are probably the largest I've had yet. They've had much more consistent watering this year. So I want to finish out the tour by going over all the plants that we're harvesting off of right now as we go into August. One of the biggest ones, aside from elderberry, is going to be Goji Berry. And as you can see, these goji bushes are loaded down. We've been harvesting and harvesting and harvesting, and I'll continue to harvest until our first frost. These are nightshades. They're in the same family as tomatoes, and goji kind of taste like tomatoes if you eat them fresh. I personally do like to dehydrate them. It helps them store longer. The next one that we're going to be harvesting soon here in August is going to be the muscadine grapes, and I will probably end up making a juice or a jam with those. Going on down the road here, figs. Figs are going to be coming up, and this is going to be the first year that I get a really large harvest of figs off of this brown turkey fig. It's doing really well having the chickens back here, keeping it fertilized. We've had a steady amount of rain, so fruit set has been strong and there's been no fruit drop, and I'll probably end up eating those whole instead of trying to preserve them. A good wild edible we got harvesting and growing right now is the passion fruit, Passiflora incarnata. This is a wild one. I do like to make a juice with these. We'll save the seeds and probably end up selling them here by the end of the year. The passion flowers themselves are beautiful, and you can see they bring in all types of pollinators. Yeah, Mother Nature's wonderful, actually. There's lots of pollinators back here and lots of things flowering at this time of year. As we go through the season, we just get different things flowering. I always seem to have something flowering at any part of the year. I've planned out the food forest that way. This right here is a beautyberry, Mexican Beautyberry, Americana Callicarpa. I'll probably end up just freezing the berries there and adding them to fruit smoothies. Here is a pomegranate. We have one pomegranate growing. But I do expect all the 3 pomegranate we have on site to end up producing a lot more for us in the future. And as I was talking about pollinators, you can see here we got the mint all over the place is flowering. The whole food forest right now has this nice earthy, minty smell to it every time you walk around. Another plant that we're going to be harvesting, I may get one jujube off of my Lee jujube tree. This is the first year that I'm going to be able to harvest something off of it. It's just one of them. Over at the project site, we have a lot more jujube growing. Keep in touch for a video coming out soon. That jujube is covered by winged sumac. It's a wild edible that I'll be harvesting off of in the fall. Other than that, garden fans, we're kind of just slowing down. The updates are going to be slowing down as we get into the heat of the summer. The pawpaw trees are looking great. I'm expecting them to start fruiting for us next year. But the whole food forest looks great. There's a huge array of diversity going on. And we can't do this, and we don't do it without you. We appreciate your help and support as always. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's what really helps us out. Thank you for watching. God bless.
It's like eating it, like chewing on it.
That's just gross. Oh, no, not the eye.
They love each other. Oh, look at those kisses. Oh, look at her nibbling.